The story of the New Jersey Conservation Foundation starts here, in a place where time slows down.
It's an incredibly peaceful place. I think for many of us, it's the kind of place we go to get away from all the busyness of our lives.
This is a place of great beauty, but also of tremendous utility. These wetlands filter water, store carbon, and stop flooding. They're a critical part of our ecosystem.
It's hard to imagine that we could have lost this incredible resource, that the swamp would have been filled in.
The year was 1959. Air travel was in its golden age, and the Port Authority was convinced that the New York City area needed a fourth major jetport.
There was literally no one who could keep the power of the Port Authority in check.
So when the Newark Evening News broke the story,
a jetport larger than any other in the world is proposed to be built on the site of the Great Swamp.
People were right to be worried.
The power that they were given was in part necessary to do these projects, but also hard to fight.
People really didn't understand what wetlands were. People thought of wetlands as places to fill and fix.
But the people who knew the swamp understood its importance, and they weren't going to give it up without a fight. The Port Authority had the political will to acquire state land and could seize private land through eminent domain. But the community was organized, and they had a plan.
It looked like there might be a way to preserve this property through federal ownership.
And before you knew it, the Great Swamp Committee was born. If the residents of the Great Swamp could buy up the land, donate it to the federal government, and get them to protect it, the Port Authority wouldn't be able to touch it. Following an initial 1,000-acre donation from local philanthropist Marcellus Dodge, neighbors began to piece together land with help from Helen Fensky, a homemaker turned organizing powerhouse.
Helen was really inspiring people who had never been involved in anything like this before to take action.
Meanwhile, Congressman Peter Frelinghuysen worked behind the scenes in Washington, D.C.
Nothing like it had been done before. It was exciting.
Finally, after 4 long years of grassroots organizing, the federal government recognized 2,600 acres of donated land as the Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge.
It was an incredible win, and it changed our idea of what was possible.
But they kept going, and 4 years later, the Great Swamp would become the country's first federally recognized wilderness area. The Great Swamp would be safe from development forever.
The saving of the Great Swamp was really a seminal time in environmentalism in New Jersey. People were waking up to the fact that the environment was threatened and that they could do something about it.
This victory just energized so many people, and it had legs. It didn't stop there.
The Great Swamp Committee would go on to become a new organization, the New Jersey Conservation Foundation.
After the Great Swamp battle was won, everyone was invigorated and saw the need to preserve equally important properties all over the state. But it became clear that if you tried to preserve one property at a time, you would never make a dent. Legislation was needed, and so New Jersey Conservation Foundation launched on a multi-decade effort to change the whole playing field of how land is preserved in the state.
Well, Dave Moore used to talk about how our goal was to put ourselves out of business. And then we realized, oh, that's never going to happen because there's always another big challenge ahead of us. But taking on big battles is part of our DNA. That's what this organization does, and we're not afraid of what comes next.